Hey everyone, this is David Nilsson, creator and host of Bean to Barstool, and today I'm sharing a quick bonus episode about a new beer from a Florida brewery using cacao from a bean to bar chocolate maker we've heard from on this podcast previously. Sara Ratza at Ratza Chocolate in Tarpon Springs, Florida, loves craft beer almost as much as she loves chocolate, so working with neighboring breweries was always part of her plan. She recently provided cacao to Brighter Days Brewing, just a 5-minute walk from her shop, for a beer called Hooray for Hazel, a bourbon barrel-aged imperial stout brewed with hazelnuts, lactose, and cacao. I had a short phone conversation with Sara recently and asked her how this partnership came about.
So I've been working with Brighter Days, getting cacao to them since I've pretty much opened my shop. They knew that they were wanting to do something with the hazelnut, and the brewer already had an idea of what different nibs I had available for them, and he knew that he wanted something with a little bit of a less fruity flavor, I guess. And so he asked me specifically for the Bolivian, which tends to be a favorite in my shop.
Tell me a little bit about the beer itself. I know it's got quite a bit going on in there.
It does. It has the hazelnut and the nibs and the lactose. And it was barrel aged in a bourbon barrel. And it just has a really beautiful flavor. The hazelnut is subtle, the chocolate is subtle. I think that they just did a really good job.
So you mentioned the Bolivia nibs. Tell me a little bit about the story behind those beans.
So the Bolivian is one of my most special beans that I use in my shop. It is a wild harvested bean. To me, it has just this amazing story that goes along with the bean itself. The beans themselves are super teeny tiny because it is wild harvested. And the actual chocolate is this really deep, dark, almost earthy notes to them because they're just this really beautiful, amazing bean. So I think that the brewer had that in mind when he was wanting to make this beer, that he wanted to bring that deep, dark cacao flavor into this beer. And I think that anything that could have had more of the nuttier notes almost might have taken away from the hazelnut. So I think that he made a really good decision with the Bolivian.
And do you source those directly, or is that through Uncommon Cacao or another broker?
So I actually got my Bolivian cacao from the Chocolate Alchemist, and I tend to get smaller batches of beans through him because through Uncommon Cacao, I get the 120-pound sacks. So anything that I'm doing as a small batch, I tend to get smaller batches from him.
Do you have a next collaboration with Brighter Days planned out?
I have an idea with the brewer of what we're wanting to do, and I'm been really encouraging them to kind of go beyond what the traditional beers are with chocolate, because I'm a big experimentation. I want to break the boundaries and I want to do something different that nobody else is doing. So we have an idea in mind of what we're going to be doing next, but I don't want to call it out yet because I know that they're waiting to surprise everybody.
Hooray for Hazel pours thick and syrupy into the glass, and the aroma shows assertive bourbon, a touch of apple brandy, and sweet milk chocolate with a hint of nuts. Toasted hazelnut is clearer on the palate, enveloped in milk chocolate with a hint of coconut from the bourbon barrel. The bourbon itself is bold and almost a touch hot, so I'd be interested to see if some time in the bottle would bridle that spirituous nature at all. Despite the sweet flavors, the finish itself is moderately dry, with enough bitterness to keep this thick and heady beer from overstaying its welcome on the tongue. Ratza's 80% Bolivia Wild Harvest bar is a treat on its own, with aromas of fudge and curious spices. I noted vanilla and tonka beans, and a pleasant melt that brings flavors of fudgesicle, earthiness, and cool blueberry or blackberry, with a moderate acidity throughout. In the context of the beer, the fudgy and earthy notes of the chocolate come forward while the others drop away. Sara is making truly unique chocolate at Ratza. I'm excited to see her working with Brighter Days on Hooray for Hazel, and can't wait to find out their plan for an off-the-beaten-path concept for their next chocolate beer collaboration. I hope you enjoyed this quick bonus episode of Bean to Barstool. You can find out more about Ratza Chocolate and Brighter Days in the show notes, and you can listen to my full-length interview with Sara about her adventures in chocolate back in episode 15. I'll be back on Tuesday, December 7th with a full-length episode talking with Sam Ratto at Videri Chocolate in Raleigh, North Carolina. Videri is celebrating their 10th anniversary in December, so we'll be talking about Sam's chocolate journey and his partnerships with a number of prominent craft breweries. We'll also talk with Lauren Woods Limbach at New Belgium Brewing and Sean Lilly Wilson at Full Steam Brewery about the beers they brewed with Sam's Cacao. Until then, I hope there's something good in your glass. Thanks for listening to Bean to Barstool.